What's the word? Bag Chasers Podcast, Bizzantine The Copo. Let's get it. Grind! Now, I mean, now based off the last few episodes, I really didn't explain or describe, how I got to all of these, my experience up in these situations that I'm describing on here. So basically, I turned 18, right? And I had, whatever else on my mind, things that I wanted to do with my life myself. And, you know, parents wanted me to go to college, basically, long story short. And they wanted me to go away. Not for me. I never said, oh, yo, I want to go away. They elected for me to do that, right? And, it's not like it's an hour away, 2 hours away. They wanted me to go like 6+ hours away, right? So they signed me up for that. I never sign up. Don't fill out no apps. I don't go to visit no college, nothing like that. They just basically ship me off, right? Let me look at this note thing to see exactly what we're talking about. But, for me, essentially, that's you getting in the way of my plans. Because, 16, 17, 18, we grew up around dudes that jump into foreign cars, whatever they doing in the street. They jumping into foreign cars. They got their nice clothes. They run around with the girls. They doing all that. They living their life. They turning it up. That's the men in my environment, right? So obviously that's what I want to do. The second I get a job at 16, I'm trying to turn it up. I'm trying to stack bread, have the little knot and all that type of stuff, rubber bands. You want to jump into foreign cars, and even at 18, obviously that's what you thinking you about to do. Like you're gonna have the V, the cheap joint. Then you're gonna stack your bread and get into the bigger foreign, and you're just gonna keep getting money. And then obviously in your 20s now you're about to turn up. You're gonna go to the clubs, you're gonna pop bottles, whatever the case may be, because that's the natural order, essentially how it goes. And obviously always having the fly gear. So the college thing kind of throws a wrench in that because basically to where I was going. If I can't work, I can't get the money. Then we talking about, oh, we're gonna be a struggling college student where, my meal plan different than other people or whatever you want to call it. Like, nah, like you're not about to have nothing. There's no extras. Your friends come to this campus, you're not eating. Like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, I got my meals. I'm sorry, I can't spare you none. Or like, I don't know. I didn't get that little swipe privilege where they're like, oh, yeah, I got free extra meals. Yeah, come through, It's love over here. There's not no love with this meal plan, dog. This card is scarce. But obviously that threw a wrench in my plans right there. Obviously. Uh, you know. And I guess you could say, I come from a not so great household. You could say, there was violence in the household, yelling, all that type of stuff. That could technically be the regular black family, but that's the environment I'm coming up in. And the school thing just it puts a hinder on everything. Whether it's, you know, me trying to accomplish my goals that I already set as a teenager. Like these ain't even my 20s goals. These are just teenage joints, right? So it hinders me there. Then, obviously looking back in hindsight, it gives me the break from the environment. But when you're forced to depend on the people that you're trying to escape because it's a bad environment, it keeps you sucked in, keeps you locked into that too. It doesn't leave no exit door. It forces you to keep dealing with it. So these are the things that, kind of mess my situation up. So that's where a lot of the experience, a lot of the knowledge, a lot of things that I'm kicking on here is coming from because it's based off technically experience and how I look at it from my perspective. So that's that. I mean, that's just a little intro, a little background story, whatever. And we can go from there. At the end of the day, it's cool. You would say, oh yeah, college is supposed to be looked at as a positive, blah blah blah. Yeah, it is cool. That's whatever. But a lot of the things with me ended up being, a negative look upon it and multiple factors. But yeah, it's cool. Get a degree, go to school. Anybody. Challenge yourself, get smarter. Do it if you want to do it, and if you love to do it, or whatever your career path is going to be based down. Sure, you could go do it, but you know, I can speak positive of it. But at the end of the day, my experience isn't very positive regarding it. Okay, so now we're past that. I don't know how long that just took, but all right, it's like a couple minutes in. All right. Okay, so one of the things that I've been looking at on Instagram lately is hair cutting pages, and it's interesting. It did dope. Those are one of the things that like. There's a lot of pages that I don't rock with, but a hair cutting page I'm with. You know what I'm saying regarding and you would have who would have thought like, well, not who would have you anybody could have guessed like. You go to the barber shop. Like I've been cutting my hair for years. I've said that on one of the other podcasts too, but you would think like that would be the greatest idea to do because when it comes to ASMR, you want to hear that. Zzz, you want to hear that joint cutting hair. You want to see what it looks like before and after. The before is nah. The before is be looking crazy sometimes. I don't necessarily want to see what your head look like right there, but the afters be looking nuts. You know, it's the visual, like the cutting part. I don't know what it is about them type of, this is relaxing watching, somebody mow a lawn. Like, I don't know what it is, the visualization. Like, people are fucking weird, honestly. If you want to keep it a bean, like, we're all weird for watching those type of videos where, people are like cleaning out a gutter. Like, we're like odd for looking at stuff like that. But obviously, we should already know like whoever first did it, you're a genius because the barbershop joints, you want to hear the buzzing, looking at the crisp line, they're doing a line, cleaning it up. Is you hearing this shit and it's visualization? I'm like, oh my god, while looking at this joint, it's nuts. But, at the end of the day, man, oh, we was gonna get into this. Dudes that bald their head, but you have a full hairline, you're insane. Unless you got the joint where you bald in right here at the top and the back, like dudes that bald their head but have a full head of hair, you're out of pocket. Like 7 million%. And I like even if you do it like to be an actor, like you're still out of pocket. Like you're going a little too hard. Let somebody else do that. Like somebody that's bald, let them have that part at the end of the day. And I've seen like, Amari Hardwick, like he be like bald in his joint like regular. Like, what you doing, bro? Like, even though he might Beijing his joint a little bit, like do the spray and all of that, the little enhancements to make your shit look a little sharper, a little darker, and all that. Like, you have absolutely no reason to bulge your shit, and I get it though, to an extent. You know, haircutting is a lot. The expense is a lot, and like fucking staying on top of it, making sure your line is good, this, that, and the third. Dude just get in there with a razor and just be like, whoop. Like, I get it, but nah, bro. You disrespecting the environment by doing that. And dads that bald their kids as a child, you're super duper out of pocket. Like, I've seen this like throughout my life, like pretty often, where and like yeah, dudes is just like the parents, not just dudes, parents will bald their son head, and you're like 5. Like, bro, if you don't leave this man's head alone, like he has a good, like he can go bald at 18. Any man could go bald at 18, 21, 22. Like, let that happen then. But when you're young, let him keep his full head. If you don't know how to cut hair, just let it grow out and like, I don't know. Try to find some type of barber. This would be like a barber rule. If somebody can't afford to get a haircut, a parent, you can't afford to get your child a haircut, before you try to bald this man's head with a pair of clippers, the barber should be able to give you a free cut. Period. Like that should not be allowed. You should be arrested if you bald your kid's head and he's not, you know, like it's just multiple things about it. Like other kids are going to joke on you. Period. Like you gonna have your kid walk around with the Grinch cut. Like when he shaved his face and he had a little all the little ink shits everywhere. They're gonna be laughing at him crazy because you done balded his head. You know, who knows what the jokes the little kid's gonna say? Because you can see, like, there's hair everywhere, but you balded his shit. And then you can see the hairline still be fucked up because you just balded it straight back. And they gonna feel weird. All the other kids got hair. This nigga bald. He's 6. Or, the girls ain't gonna wanna fuck with you, young boy. So why you gonna do it? The girl's gonna be like, ew, he's bald. Old man. All that type of stuff. Like, leave your kid head alone, bro. Real talk. But yeah, that should be a rule in the barbershops. If a parent can't afford to get the haircut or they gonna butcher a little boy head, just give him a free cut. Until a parent can afford it, just free cut should be given out. Or you should be able to talk to the barber on the side and be like, I'm gonna provide this service for people that need it. Like, you gotta help the youth, man. These parents have kids walking around looking crazy, bro. Let the boy hair grow in. And at the end of the day, if you fuck the hairline up too, if you fuck the hairline up too early and you bald the shit, and then it starts growing in patchy, like you're gonna have like little bald spots and shit, you don't want that neither. That's like even worse. I ain't gonna say it's worse than, balding, but like, you don't want the patches where you gotta try to design the hairline and line it up right and push stuff back and shit so it could look even. That's a whole nother ball game too. That you don't want to be fucking with, hairlines and hair and all that type of stuff. Is real sensitive at the end of the day. Like I said, he has his whole life to experience that type of lifestyle. Don't make it happen early. Especially if you're grown up and you bald. Don't be taking it out on a little boy because you don't want to be bald at the end of the day. As many as you dudes is on here getting toupees, getting your hair sprayed on and fucking tattooing a hairline and tattooing your whole head so you could look regular. Just let the youth live their life, bro. Let him enjoy his follicles, bro. Word. We ain't gonna drag that out. Dudes is crazy. Facts. Okay, so top 5 hairstyles of this last decade. Top 5 haircuts. The nappy fro that the young dudes got is basically, I want to say that's probably been the number one hairstyle for like 5, 7 years running. The nappy fro where they get the sponge and then they do this to their head when they wake up. They don't pick it, they don't comb it or nothing. You just wake up, probably shower, and then just sponge your joint. That, and then you get the tape up on the sides and all that, and make it look sharp. That wasn't like a thing, but that should have been a thing when we was younger. Because I remember dudes try to get afros and stuff. Yeah, you can get a crisp, clean, circular fro, but that would have been dope back in the day. It's basically like S curls, whether it's nappy or not. Like you're good regardless. Oh yeah, the Travis Scott braids on the top and then the low cut Caesar on the sides. That's like, you know, I wouldn't say that's. It's not like the crazy joint like the fro joint, but I mean it is. But it's more like popular. I wouldn't say like it's really a trend. Like that one's a little. They're both trends, but this one's like a vicious trend. Like everybody got it. Like people that you've never seen before with hair has hair. Like it's a crazy trend, bro. I just wouldn't do it because that's a lot of work, bro. Like you really gonna braid the top of your shit at a salon. Then you gonna go get a haircut. You gonna go to the barber and be like, yo, yeah, you know what I want you to do, bro. Take it down on the sides. You know what I mean? Give me the light Caesar, do me the line up and all that, and have the braids on the top. Braids already be like $40 to $60, depending on who you go to. Unless you have the girl plug, braids are OD. Then you're gonna go to the barber, and barber prices right now are insane. I would never get both of those at the same time unless I'm the nigga cutting the sides. At the crib, I cut it down and shit and then do the line up. You know what I'm saying? It is a dope style, letting your joints hang down and shit or get it braided at the top and have it going all the way to the back. It's fire, but it's definitely super duper lot of work, without a doubt. Uh, what was you just talking about? Yeah, that one's damn near number one. Dreads. Dreads has been like, you know, That one ain't really a trendy joint right there. That one been like crazy. Um, Even from like 2010, 2011 type shit. You know, dudes, they really started getting dreads around then. I know a couple family members that had dreads for pretty much my whole life. Like that's always been a thing. It's been cool, but like around the time Waka Flocka came out, that's where you really seen the jump of dudes having dreads. Granted, like I was saying, I was in Virginia at some point, so a lot of the dudes down there was having them or growing them and all that type of shit. And then obviously, Chief Keef come out. Then, all of them are growing dreads. All of the dudes are starting to grow dreads more, even then. So, that's one hell of a hairstyle, too. The dreads, dyeing them different colors. The shit I always like is when, pause, dudes get the dreads, right? And it be, they long or whatever, and then they braid them. They braid the dread. That's fire, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, I do that hairstyle with the dreads, or I have my shits hanging down. I mean, that's fire too. At some point in my life, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully, maybe when I'm older, I'll do that shit. Fire. And I stay in shape and all that. It'll look official. But other than that, the Odell Beckham, that cut is crazy as ever too. You know what I'm saying? Having it low on the sides, blonde on the top, and it be like curly and all that, that's official. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of kids take to that as well. Adults, everybody, you know what I'm saying? Um, we got the low C's on here with or without waves. That's always the go to, no matter what, from the last decade or, before, whatever the case may be. That's always because it's a clean cut at the end of the day. Clean, you get your lineup done right. You know what I mean? Wave it up. Don't wave it up. It's just a clean, crisp look, regardless. And the last joint on here, I joked. I put down the baldy. You know what I'm saying? For the last, decade, even before then, because obviously, Jada and them was rocking the baldy in the '90s or whatever, and they said, oh, at some point, I think, like Onyx or something made that official for the young dudes to get the baldy. Like they had hairlines and all that, and it was just balding their shit. Like that's crazy, bro. I couldn't imagine, but you see it in movies too. Young dudes with bald heads and all that, and they look funny. Do you look like you too young to have that? I'm saying, but I mean, those is my votes for the top hairstyles of the last decade. At the end of the day, like cornrows and braids in general is for really that's like the top hairstyle of probably the early 2000s. That's not the hairstyle of the 2010s and on. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Honorable mention, the Mohawk went crazy at some point. You know what I mean? Black dudes was getting Mohawks, Spanish dudes, everybody had the Mohawk around, sometime around there. I used to want a Mohawk, but I just didn't want to take that risk, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like on the other races, because they got like straighter hair, it just looked different. The black dudes should be looking peasy sometimes. The shit wasn't looking right on everybody. I mean, I probably could have pulled it off. And like I've been saying on here, I'll be cutting my hair myself. So that's like a daring thing that I just never took the chance to do that. I'm saying I could have probably went to a barber to get it done. Because every time I want a specialty cut, I go to a barber and I'm like, yo, here, do this real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need this specific look right here. And I only do it like once. Like, I don't really be keeping up with it. I should have. Like, whatever. We ain't got to go there. But the specialty cuts, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me, I go to the barber for that type shit. It's crazy. I realized the chin strap goatee, the joint that go like from it's just your sideburn going down to your beard, and it's just like one line, and it goes straight through. You out of pocket if you rocking that right now. You know what I'm saying, like that's like a '04, '03 type lineup. Like dudes ain't walking around with that right now. The beard shit is they got the full beard, or like mine's patchy and shit. But like beards is in. You know what I'm saying? Certain dudes might rock the little goatee joint with the cheek shaved on the side. But this one right here that go all the way around, that's like, nah, bro, you an old head. You know what I'm saying? You OG if you run around with that. So that's out of line. Nobody should be running around with that right now. We're gonna skip a couple stuff, a couple things. You know what I'm saying? I got too many things written down. I did a run on this podcast, on this episode, and the joint went for like an hour and a half, damn near. Ugh, can't do that this time. We could touch on it a little bit. The Met Gala. This happened a couple weeks ago, maybe even like a month or two ago at this point. But this one was very classy at the end of the day. They had a lot of nice outfits that I was liking. You know what I'm saying the suits was very elegant and all that. Had nice dresses and all that. And I get it. At the end of the day, when they make all these eye popping things, really gets people talking. At the end of the day, it gets people talking about the outfits, the designers, what inspired you to wear this or whatever the case may be. And I rock with it. It gets people talking. I think this time the outfits weren't too crazy. They weren't too, you know, over the top. And another thing that I heard was like, yeah, tickets are like 400K or something like that. I don't know how true that is, but that's a lot of bread. And they was basically saying how the celebrities and the people that are wearing those type of things are getting invites by the designer, and the designer is like buying the table out, like Gucci or buy the table or whatever, and have you wear their objects or their designs at that table, and like y'all are like sponsoring it or whatever. Know what I'm saying? And it's just an ill event. Like obviously they're not paying 400K. Like they're probably going to get paid 400K after. You know what I'm saying? People buy these objects or start wearing the brands more because of the people showcasing these designs. But yeah, that's a lot, bro. For the civilians and the people that are just super duper rich and paying 400K for the seat just to sit at the Met Gala, that's nuts. Know what I'm saying, I'm sure it's the wealthy upon the wealthy going in there. Know what I'm saying, and just mobbing 400K like $500 or something. Like that's insane, bro. But this one was looking lit. Can't lie, man. I got it written down here. The last podcast I was talking about the foundation, or like saving and just starting or whatever. So we could talk about the foundation as a whole. And really, the starting point, they say most Americans don't have $1,000 saved. So obviously, that's step one. That puts you ahead of the curve pretty much by a lot, just by saving a rack. Throw that to the side. All right, cool. And that's just at the beginning of the year, whatever you want to call it. Then for me, step two um, is really saving 3 to 6 months emergency savings. And you could break that down to however you may want to. You know what I'm saying 3 to 6 months of bill money. You know what I'm saying bills in general. Then you could take it a step further, 3 to 6 months of bill money and like your habits. At the end of the day, we know like if you basing it off a budget and the specific number down to like you're doing this every single week as like a habit. uh we're not talking like super duper shopping or nothing crazy like that. You're gonna do whatever it may be at at the minimal, the minimal thing that you're gonna do, putting that away. You know what I'm saying? And that's talking about like, you're gonna wanna go out to eat, let's say, or, go to the bar or you know what I'm saying, just extra spending money. You do 3 to 6 months of that. Obviously the bill part is a little simpler, uh, you know, to just do that first, essentially. And technically, oh, we ain't gonna go there, but hold on. Yeah, do that 3 to 6 months of that, and then obviously if you have any debt, get rid of that as fast as possible. You know what I'm saying? And we're not talking about house debt. We're not talking about, um, student loans, like those are like pretty big things that like you're gonna have to knock out over time. Um, yeah, like consumer credit card debt, cell phone debt, whatever it may be, cell phone bills, whatever could at the end of the day it's gonna help your credit score too. You know what I'm saying? Knock all of that out. And then have your emergencies, have all that other stuff in order. Uh yeah, after you get your foundation essentially right, where you save up like your emergency or whatever you want to call it, if you want to hit these certain plateaus and levels or whatever. Now, usually I would, if you want to treat yourself, and I'm saying this is a new concept because I didn't do this before, but every time you hit like that level or hit that benchmark, save up another 500 to a rack, whatever you want to do, just to give you a little breathing room. Like you don't touch that money now. Give yourself a little breathing room. Uh, and your next check or whatever the case may be, treat yourself to whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying, whatever you may want. So it's not like you're putting like this really big long road where it's like you're just depriving yourself for like forever. You know what I'm saying, like, hit your benchmark. All right, uh put a little cushion between that, so you don't, if something were to happen, you don't got to dip into what you just saved. Give yourself a little cushion, breathing room. All right, now chill. Do whatever you may do real quick. Take a break, a breather, maybe a week or something like that. Treat yourself to whatever you may want to, and then get back to the grind after that, and then go to the next step. But that's really the foundation. It's really the stack the thousand first. That'll put you, ahead of the game in general. Then the second step is 3 to 6 months of emergency savings. And then, there's everything else in between. It's really, whatever goals you may want to accomplish financially for the year or in general, depending on how much money you want to save. I really feel like, and obviously it's simple. You go from 100 there to 1,000 there. Okay, cool. You know, no vacations until you hit like 10 racks or something like that. Or like, don't spend $1,000 until you got 10. You know what I'm saying? Don't buy stuff until, well, we could scrap that off, but don't buy stuff unless you could buy it twice. Like, make sure you got triple, quadruple the amount of money of whatever you're trying to buy. Um, then there's 50, 30, 20 rules. 50% saving, 30% wants, 20% needs. You know what I'm saying? There's ratios like that. You could divvy the ratio up however you may want. You might want to do 30, 30, 30. Um, you could do, you could flop around the 50, 30, 20 to whatever you want. 50% wants, 30% saving, 20% needs. You can flip it around however you may please. But these numbers are here, to help you essentially. You know, staying liquid as possible. This is a step ahead. This is some whole other shit. Um, but being liquid, um, essentially feeling like your money is your money at the end of the day. This ain't got nothing to do with the foundation. This is just mindset, I guess. But we gonna, I ain't gonna get into that right now. But yeah, that's the foundation. And then we talking about saving in general. We go to another step of saving. You hear Shaq talk about it. Uh, the rich people save 50 and then they spend 50. Like 50% you invest and you save and all that other type of stuff, and the other 50 you ball out. Then he say the wealthy do uh save 75%, 25% ball out. And here's another thing about the foundation. At the end of the day, when it comes to saving, you save what you can. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know bills is high, things are high, everything is like ridiculous right now. But, work with whatever percent you can at the moment, and then make sure you just incrementally increasing your percentage at saving and spending, keeping your expenses as low as possible. That's another thing. Keeping your expenses as low as possible. And, no lifestyle creep. This is part of the foundation as well. No lifestyle creep. As you keep your expenses as low as possible, and as your salary increases, you don't let your lifestyle creep with it. Like, you go from 50 to 70 and then go from, your regular car to the luxury car. You don't go from 50 to 70 and you living in this house and then you want a bigger one. Granted, I know Pete, that's what we, kind of want it for, but, got to chill out. So you can maintain, you can keep more money. Like, that's the point. You want to be more free, not like, strapped to more expenses and like, all right, now you're like slaving to maintain this lifestyle. Know what I mean? Uh, what else about the foundation? Hmm. I think that's mainly it. And another thing I guess I want to stress on is just, oh nah, having a budget. Because you see, at the end of the day, wealthy people are people that, their lifestyle could be so expensive. Not expensive. Their lifestyle could be something they could afford very easily. Like, they're making way, 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 way more than what their lifestyle is. They don't necessarily have to save. They don't necessarily have to have a budget. And, obviously, you're going to hear contradictory opinions from different people because people live different. But, I can see where people would say, like, yeah, it's easier for them to, like, save money or put money away because they make way more than what they spending. But everybody's not like that. And I did see or read, should I say, people saying like, "Oh yeah, I have a budget," or like, "I used to budget," and uh, I basically use the same principles from there that I use now, like keeping the same budget as your salary increases. Same thing with the lifestyle creep, keeping the same budget, keeping the same like outlook on bills as the money gets up. So, technically you don't really have to track it later because you already know what it is in your mind. And then there's, they say, also, if you can't manage $1,000, you can't manage 10,000. I'm saying you got to have that type of, there's a bunch of quotes, man. Bunch of quotes. But yeah, budgeting. You got to do the budget. You got to, look over your things and go through your bank accounts. That's like these are just major things that you got to do. At the end of the day, you got to track them whichever way you can. Just being responsible about it. At the end of the day, um, and that's the foundation, man. We ain't got to go on forever about it, even though I kind of have. I'm sure there's more information that I could probably lay out as well, but it is what it is right now, man. Okay, as far as investing is concerned, Warren Buffett and pretty much everybody basically says, if you don't have $100,000, you're not really in the investing game, essentially. And really, they just because I did say like, oh, uh, it don't gotta be 100. It could be a little less, but they really, 100,000. And so when you invest, you're gonna get a bigger return because 100,000 is a bigger number than 10% of 100,000 is bigger than 10% of $1,000. So you're in the game and you're just getting bigger returns and um, you know, at the end of the day, it's a hard thing to accomplish too to save that big chunk of money anyway. But you're really in the game at 100. And I've listened to a couple people basically say like, you know, excuse me, I've listened to people basically say like, you know, somebody asked them like, yo, I got 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, $20,000. What do you think I should do with it? How do I invest it? And the guy look him dead in his face and be like, invest it in yourself because I guess that's just not it's not sufficient at the time. I'm saying like you gotta just invest that into yourself to make more bread. But obviously, if we're going off the Warren Buffett thing and Charlie Munger and all that, you can't even really invest that into yourself. If you're trying to get to this 100 as fast as possible, and I'm not trying to put that out there like, oh, this is the way completely all the way, blah blah blah. But There's different ways to look at it. Yeah, you could put the, 5, 10, whatever the number is back into yourself if it's gonna get you get the 100 back to you faster. But, I would just be on the road to 100. Just keep tucking it and tucking it and tucking it until you can get the whole 100 as fast as possible. Um, but yeah, that's what they basically make it sound like. You can't really do nothing with 10, 5. At this point, though, now there's other things you could do with that amount of money, but not nothing that can get you the money back fast enough. But yeah, they basically say to invest in yourself. You know what I'm saying? And whatever courses to make you better at sales, to make you better at working with people, to make you better at, public speaking, anything that can help you excel in your field as fast as possible to get the bigger bag, to get the bigger job, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we can go lighter this time. This little clap down here is the damn chair. I've been wondering when I'm listening to these audio playbacks, what is this creaking? It's the damn chair when I'm moving it, I think. But the top 5 classic albums of the last decade or since 2010. And I'm biased because I don't listen to a lot of the new stuff. I don't listen to new albums. Like I haven't listened to a lot of new artists. You know what I'm saying, we don't gotta go there, but Chief Keef, Finally Rich, is like number one on this list because he really changed everything. Essentially, like he really came out like, you know when he came on the scene, he came like ferociously. Meek Mill championships. Honestly, bro, like we all give Keith his roses, but I don't know, bro. The Meek Mill Championships album, I feel is like like a '90s classic album. That's personally how I feel about it. Like back to back, front to back, beginning to end. It's just a banger. Like yeah, there's things that I'll skip in there because there's love songs on there. I don't really listen to stuff like that. But even when I do, they're still good. I'm saying I feel like that was a good body of work. Even the album cover is crazy, and his face ain't even really on it like that. Jeezy Trap or Die 3, but that was fire. I think I was just listening to that like earlier, like 2 3 days ago. I'm saying that's one of my favorite albums by Jeezy. I guess I could say, but I feel like there's a couple things in there that like he been rocking for the last decade too. Period. Mixtapes, albums, they all pretty much been banging. So Jeezy in there for sure, especially you know I first started hearing him in like 2008, 2009. I'm saying he got a nice body of work, period, too. And I'm saying 444. All right. I had watched Thrown on here, but I don't think I've probably listened to it like once or twice. And the last couple Jay Z albums, period, have been fire. In general, they basically say all his albums are fire, and I've listened to he got hit after hit after hit. But 444 is fire because obviously, I do the entrepreneurial stuff and money and talking about cars and there's a lot of stuff on there. Like black grown men shit on there too that, if you just not uh feeling that way yourself, you're not gonna get it. So, I've had people talk to me and be like they don't really like that album like that. I really like that album like that. Uh, and I put Lil Wayne, the Carter 4 and 5 on here. Because Lil Wayne, I was just listening to something earlier that was just crazy about Wheezy. Um, and it was an old joint too, and I didn't really listen to, like, go out my way to listen to him like that. But, when people play it for me, it's just all fire. You know what I'm saying? You can't deny him. Period. Between albums and mixtapes, he pretty much dominated that era. Period. And I'm saying with his work ethic and everything. Like if it's not the music, just the work ethic, you gotta applaud. Like for real, for real. Couple honorable mentions. My bad. Honorable mentions. 50 Cent, Animal Ambition. Even though I feel like I didn't listen to that like that, but 50 Cent had, a hell of a run, period. And anytime 50 playing, you gonna play it, you know what I'm saying? Rick Ross, Teflon Don, Meek, Expensive Pain, Meek, Dreams and Nightmares, Meek, Dream Chasers 3, uh, Banks, Hunger for More 2. I had to Google these things to see like what the era was looking like. And I feel like all of these things were probably on some type of playlist or people were hitting play on these things at the time, for sure, without a doubt. We going, like I said, the last time I recorded this, it was very, very long. I don't even want to like. There's all stuff about. So I said in the last podcast that there was nowhere to eat. So that's all the first semester. You know what I'm saying, like, I'm popped beyond belief. So I get there, mind you. Before I get there, we was getting to the point that me and a couple guys had cars and was building cars. So this was like you end up damn near going in, all out on accomplishing your goals. Like, you're not buying the latest sneakers no more. You're not getting, super dressed at school. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of that stuff goes out the door so you can pool as much money as possible to build your car as fast as possible. To be out there, you know what I'm saying, and look ill and just be in a different scene. Obviously a lot of sacrifice and a lot of, not eating too. Like you getting money, but you just not paying for lunch at work or whatever the case may be, or you're trying to get the cheapest thing you could possibly find so you can save as much money as possible. So this is kind of where a lot of that stuff comes into a lot of that discipline to do that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what the discipline come to for sure. I think I was just going through it in the dorms, going to class. My first couple classes is elective type joints. I think freshman studies, history, calculus, shit like that. Those are the only three I can remember. And I'm just going through it, explanations. Like the freshman studies guy was a little irritating. Um, it's a HBCU, so a lot of the teachers is black. The math teachers ain't black like that. They was Asian. Uh, but it's just one of them teachers where it's like, well, just one of them dudes. Like, why are you so fucking arrogant and think you know everything type shit? I can't stand a motherfucker that's like that. And they get up there and they say whatever they say. But uh, obviously I ain't want to be there, so I ain't want to be in class in the first place. My energy is all probably negative anyway. But you get in here with this dude, and he the type of nigga. He had us at the end of the year. I think had us presenting. Man, listen, that was like my least favorite thing to do. Period in school, high school, middle school, whatever school. I'm saying I'm not presenting, bro. If the project needs me to be the presenter, I'm dipping. I'm not showing up. So whatever. I end up going up to this motherfucker. He calls me to the shit. I do it, but I'm doing it like a what's that joint called? Like it's an auction. 25, 45, 75, 85, 95. Sold. I'm like that up there. Like my name is I'm doing science and da 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 da. All right, bye. See you later. You know what I'm saying? He had this thing. This was one of the first classes, dude. He had this thing where he like, I want you to get up here, like he's trying to teach you how to present. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it, bro. So you go up there and he's like, oh yeah, ask people if they have questions after. Nigga, I'm not asking no questions. He probably stopped me to fucking get somebody to ask a question. Maybe I asked them, get them to ask me a question. Get one person to ask me a question, I answer them. All right, bye. I'm saying we were out of here. This is over with. I mean, but he was kind of a jerk. Didn't really like him like that, and it was just an elective. Why you taking it so serious, bro? Just chill. Uh, history. I had this guy, right? Crazy old dude. Crazy old dude. Where in a lot of classes like this, like you have guy teachers, and they're just you know low key kind of like you'd being a little flirtatious with the young girls, like they go up there. We were in class and we had this big ass class. He was one of these dudes, like these niggas just be acting too strict and weird and shit. Like you know, this was a big class though. It wasn't like a lecture, fucking big ass auditorium class, but it's like it was enough where I'm like 6, 7 rows back into the classroom or whatever. And you could just tell the energy off top. Like he just had an attitude all the time. I'm saying if you come in late, he'll tell you to leave. Like what you talking about, bro? Tell you to leave. I think if you miss 3 classes, you fail. And he was like on his shit. And if you come in late, you're gonna miss the class. So like, nah, you gotta show up and all that type of shit. Get there early. But like I said, like he being a little lenient to the girls and shit. The girls, raising their hand, talking to him or whatever, and talking to him after class. And he changed his tone when he talking to them. But he talked to in general, he talk all rude and shit. Then you talk to the guys, you talking rude. But then the little girl come up with a little cute voice. Now you change your tone. Like nah, bro. Like I'm not jacking it. Whatever. So I'm sitting all the way in the back dealing with this nigga. Oh yeah, my fault. He old, short nigga, white hair, up in the air like a troll, mad long. It was wild as shit. Like, why you coming to work like that, bro? Like, what's going on? But, I mean, I'm sitting in the back, can barely hear this nigga's history. Can't stand fucking history. Now I'm better at it now, so it's cool. But, I had to learn and shit. Nigga got like 80 question tests, I think, bombing them shits. Fucking, this nigga had us write a 10-page paper for history, bro. Like, why am I writing it? This is an English thing. This ain't for history. Why am I writing a 10-page paper here, dragging it? Had me up in like fucking. And that was the only time I wrote a 10-page paper, basically, my whole college, experience, career. That was the first time and the last time. Failed this class, didn't have to write a 10-page paper ever again. Had me up going to the library and fucking staying up all night and trying to do this shit. Research is only so much research you could do. There's only so much you could write about one subject. So I ended up like, you know, the paper just wasn't well. I probably got 6 pages in, and then after that, it was just, off to the races. He gave us a chance to fix whatever things he wrote on there, bro. Listen, it just wasn't happening, bro. Like if you give me the 10-page paper back and say, oh, you're gonna have to re-edit this and then retry, like nah, I already tried the first time, bro. Like the second time, like just this is a rap, bro. Like it is what it is. Know what I'm saying? That was that. Had calculus classes, math classes with dudes that could barely speak English. Know what I'm saying it's whatever though. No disrespect to them, because I've had pretty much that teachers like that for a long time. Like that's just something that you gotta adjust to. Once I adjusted to it, it was pretty much fine. But in the beginning, it was definitely rough. You know what I'm saying as the first experience, like, come on, bro, this is a little much. But and because they do shit fast, like all teachers do it fast. But now you're doing it fast, and I can't understand you. And I think the internet wasn't what it is right now. Like accessing Blackboard and all that shit and seeing notes and all that type of stuff. That wasn't a thing. You know what I'm saying, and we was really like the iPhone didn't even really come out, like, or the first one just came out when I was like first starting. So it was like nah, the internet is way not what it is now. I mean, you know, that's the first semester, man. Pretty rough in general, especially out there, especially with everything else going on in the background. Know what I'm saying? It just wasn't a walk in the park. Like nobody prepared me for any of that. You know what I'm saying? Having all that going on at the same time is really, a shock. And then you trying to like pass and all that shit. Like it's just too much, man. But this is just background on what I went through, man. You know, is what it is. Did have an English class. You know, wasn't bad. I'm saying anytime I go in an English class, it's just not really that bad, man. Composition, and I probably only had to write like a 3, 4, 5 page paper, maybe 3 to 4 pages, nothing special. History dude over here saying 10. I got this 3 to 4. Simple, nothing special, man. Pass the class, get up out of it, go to the next one. Know what I mean, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying we pretty much summed it up. You know what I'm saying that's the first one. We'll go into more, details about other ones later, man. You know, what else should I say on here? Let me think real quick. But yeah, that's really just the description of the first semester, really, the first year. I ain't even gonna say it's the first year. That's just the first semester. That's just getting through the door in this place, man. It's pretty rough. I'm saying I didn't know how much it costs. I didn't know, like the reality of like staying somewhere for 4 years was not like a thing. Like, talking too much. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Bag Chasers podcast. Bizzantine The Copo. Holla at your boy. That's my word. Grind.